Story recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain a crime, drama, and thriller film called Frailty. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Agent Wesley Doyle enters an FBI building, passing an ambulance on his way in. He makes his way up, and another agent, Griff, tells him that a man carrying information about a case Wesley is working on has arrived. Wesley enters his office and greets the man with a handshake. The man reciprocates by handing Wesley a picture of Wesley and his mother. Wesley finds it odd that the man was poking around on his desk, but the man says he has been waiting for a while, saying he's been through Wesley's plaques and citations, as well as crime scene photos. The man introduces himself as Fenton Meeks, and reveals that he believes his brother Adam is the God's Hand killer. Fenton begins narrating the events of the previous night. Fenton got a call from Adam. The latter said that demons were taking over the world, and he could no longer defeat them by himself. Fenton tried to calm Adam down, but Adam said he needed Fenton to take him back to the Rose Garden as Fenton had promised. Adam then hanged up, headed to his study, and shot himself in the head. Back in the office, Wesley takes note of everything Fenton says. Fenton admits that he buried Adam in the Rose Garden. Wesley still doesn't think that Adam is the God's Hand killer, as Adam has never explicitly said it. Fenton says that there is a lot more to uncover and that Wesley will fully understand everything by the end of it. Wesley calls the sheriff's office, asking if they know a man named Fenton Meeks. The woman on the other line says Fenton was present earlier. He had apparently stolen an ambulance and Adam's body. Wesley returns to the room and asks what Fenton knows. Fenton changes the subject, pointing to Wesley's photo, telling him that Wesley and his mother have the same eyes. Feeling frustrated, Wesley again asks what makes Fenton think his brother is the God's Hand killer. Fenton tells another story of how everything started in Thurman when he and his brother were still young and living with their father. The year was 1979. A school bus dropped off a young Fenton and Adam, and they made their way to a place called Thurman Rose Garden. Behind the garden was their home. Fenton reveals that their mother died at childbirth when she was in labor with Adam. Due to their mother's passing, Adam became Fenton's responsibility while their father, Mr. Meeks, worked as a mechanic. They lay in their beds, waiting for their father to tuck them in. Mr. Meeks comes in and bonds with them for a while before kissing them goodnight. Fenton stayed awake, looking at the light in the ceiling, thinking things someone his age shouldn't have to. Suddenly, the bulb turned on. Their father came into the room and announced that he had something to say. He had a vision from God earlier that night. He saw an angel in the form of a bright light that talked to him about God's special purpose for his family. He told Fenton and Adam that the world was ending. There's a war between angels and demons, and they're the only ones that knew of it. Adam voiced out that he's scared, and while their father comforted him, Fenton silently judged. The angel bestowed upon them the title of God's Hand, and their task to destroy demons. Fenton's reaction indicated that he didn't believe and spoke out, saying none of it makes sense. Their father further romanticized this idea of becoming superheroes destined to save the world from demons. They'll be blessed with 3 magical weapons to help in killing the demons. Adam was quickly captivated, while Fenton remained doubtful. Later, Fenton sat overwhelmed, tightly hugging his pillow, bracing for impact as his happy world turned upside down in a single night. He felt alone, and the sinister stares of his family cornered him to this dark state in his life. This haunted him for the following days. On his way to work, Mr. Meeks had another encounter with God. He saw a ray of light that shined on a barn. He made his way in and saw a pair of gloves and an axe buried on a tree stump. Days pass and Mr. Meeks brings the last of the magical weapons. He said it's only a matter of time before the extermination begins, as they would soon receive the first list of names. While at work, Mr. Meeks checked the undercarriage of the car. He hallucinated, and everything around him morphed into a cathedral. An angel wielding a sword on fire approached him. He came to his senses and started writing on a notepad. The night arrived. Fenton and his father talked about the mission God gave them. As a final attempt to sway his father, Fenton suggested that maybe all of this was just a dream and that there was something wrong inside his head. Mr. Meeks disagreed and brought out the list of names. At that moment, Fenton finally accepted that this was his new reality. Adam approached his father, saying that God gave him a list as well. Mr. Meeks read out the name of Adam's bully. He made Adam tell the truth and taught him a lesson about not making things up. The frustration in Fenton's eyes was evident, as he's the only one that noticed the irony behind all of this. Fenton stood near the sheriff's station. He felt conflicted because he was close to waking his family up from the nightmare they're in. However, he chose to run from the responsibility of putting his father into prison. Late at night, the brothers lay down on their beds, and they talk about their father's obsession with demons. Fenton said it's all make-believe, but Adam disagrees. Fenton tried his best to persuade Adam to run away with him. Adam smiled at his brother's proposition, and the conversation ended. Fenton woke up in the middle of the night and saw his father carrying a body bag over his shoulders. His bloody father brought home a tied-up woman. He invited the two inside the shed to witness what he was about to do. The woman was filled with fear and confusion. Mr. Meeks gets the axe, and Fenton pleaded for his father to stop. However, he was determined to act out the will of God. Mr. Meeks grabbed the woman's arm and felt the demon hiding beneath the human facade. He swung the axe and murdered the woman in front of his children. Mr. Meeks and Adam worked together to bury their victim while Fenton cried. Mr. Meeks comforted Fenton by saying that he would start to understand everything when they hunt down more demons. In the present day, Wesley asks where Fenton's father is, to which he replies that he's long dead. Fenton says that his father believes he's liberating the world from the demons and not committing murder. Fenton admits that he didn't tell on his father because he was still a child and was terrified. To further prove that Adam is the God's hand killer, he reveals that he knows where the bodies are. Wesley cuffs Fenton before they ride off to the rose garden. They converse more in the vehicle, talking about how one can carry that heavy a secret for so long. Fenton changes the topic and again brings up the picture of Wesley and his mom. This time around, Wesley opens up to Fenton, saying that a few days after that picture was taken, his mom was murdered. They never found the killer, and Fenton hypothesizes that this is why Wesley took on the case. Wesley gets tired of getting questioned and asks Fenton why he keeps changing the subject, accusing him of hiding something. A month passed since the night of the first murder. The brothers acted like normal children again, but no amount of time could fade the stain on their innocence. They entered the house and asked about the parked van outside. Their father said they need it for hunting demons while holding the dreaded notepad. They waited outside a store to abduct their next victim. Fenton argued that it's too risky to do this in broad daylight, but Mr. Meek said God would blind anyone from seeing what they would do. The man exited the store, and they initiated the plan despite Fenton not wanting to do so. Fenton acted out a scene remarkably well, convincing the man that his imaginary dog was stuck underneath the car. The man kneeled, and Mr. Meeks struck him from behind. They took him to the shed, where Mr. Meeks touched the man, and appears to have a vision of the man's sins. He then takes the man's life. Fenton revisited the idea of running away with Adam. However, Adam still refused, justifying his father's murders by bestowing him the title of a demon slayer. Adam left Fenton and planned to snitch on Fenton to their father. Mr. Meeks entered the boy's room, only waking Fenton up. He confronted Fenton about what he and Adam talked about. His father invited him outside to try and change his mind. He commanded him to dig a hole and expects him to be done halfway by the time he gets home. Fenton argued that's not possible, and his father said that anything's possible with God. He dug the hole by his own sheer will. He despised God and the angels because of what they did to his father. Adam gave him a glass of water as he made good progress with the hole. The two talked for a while, and they end up fighting. Fenton stood there all sweaty and tired, worried about his brainwashed brother. This went on for 5 more days until the hole became as deep as Fenton's hatred for God. In the following days, they constructed a dungeon underneath the shed. Fenton still acted coldly even after the time they spent together working. Another person became their unfortunate victim. However, this time, Mr. Meeks instructed Fenton to kill him. Fenton ran away and arrived at the sheriff's station. The station is unattended, so he ran to the sheriff's house. He told his story, but the sheriff didn't believe him. As he was about to call Fenton's father, Fenton shouted out that he had proof. Mr. Meeks invited the sheriff inside. His father apologized for the trouble Fenton had caused. Mr. Meeks convincingly made up lies to remove any suspicion. However, being this close to putting a stop to his father's murders, Fenton pleaded for the sheriff to at least check the shed. His father agreed and looked menacingly in Fenton's way. They opened the shed, and Fenton and the sheriff made their way down the cellar finding nothing. The sheriff looked at him disappointed and climbed up the stairs. Suddenly, Fenton heard an axe hitting flesh, and down came the sheriff, all bloody and disoriented. His father sinisterly stepped down and swung his axe, killing his first victim that's not on the list. He felt sick and puked. Mr. Meeks' head was all sorts of messed up as he claimed that this is the first innocent man he had killed. He even blamed Fenton for it. Fenton called him crazy, and the rage built up inside his father almost cost him his life. Luckily, Adam stopped him just in time. The two cried while an unfazed Fenton looked at his father with disgust. Mr. Meeks invited Fenton to the shed. He commanded Fenton to come in and shut the door behind him. He asked Fenton if he's afraid of him, and he nodded in agreement. His father said that the angel told him that Fenton's a demon, but he didn't believe it. Mr. Meeks stated that his love for Fenton is even greater than that of his faith. His father then said he's the one that's afraid of Fenton and opened the cellar hatch. Fenton tried to escape, but he got overpowered easily. He left him there and nailed down the hatch. Adam entered the shed to wake Fenton up. He pleaded for Adam to help him, but his loyalty to his deranged dad was steadfast. Adam said he'll probably be out of there in a week, leaving a furious Fenton banging on the hatch. On the 7th day, Mr. Meeks opened the hatch and asked Fenton if he had spoken to God. Fenton's fortitude remained strong as he replied that there's no God. His father locked him in again. Time passed, Fenton finally saw a vision from God, and there he realized what his mission was. One day, Fenton stopped answering. He was unconscious on the steps and got carried out by his father. He gained consciousness and told his father that he spoke to God. Mr. Meeks felt relieved to see his son finally accepting God's will. They apologized to one another and talked about plans to catch Fenton's first demon. The night of the abduction came. The two approached their victim's home, and Mr. Meeks knocked on the door. They asked for a spare tire, but their conversation got interrupted by the man's wife. He angrily cusses her out. They followed him to his garage to retrieve a spare tire. Just as his father was about to hit the man realized what they're doing and struck first. However, Fenton came to the rescue and hit the man, allowing his father to knock him out. At the cellar, Fenton had the axe in his hand and shared a sentimental moment with his father. Mr. Meeks touched the demon and commanded Fenton to destroy him. Fenton lifted the axe, and at the apex of the swing, he aimed it toward his father's chest. Adam rushed to help his dying father. He whispered in Adam's ears with his final breath. Fenton removed the duct tape from the man's mouth. The man screamed as Adam rushed to finish him off with an axe. Back in the present, Fenton becomes emotional as he remembers the dreadful day. Wesley is the first person he has spoken to about this. They sit in complete silence as Fenton doesn't want to continue the conversation anymore. They arrive at their destination, and Fenton leads him to where the bodies are located. He recoups his calm manner and continues to share about what happened next during that night. Fenton dug up a ditch and asked Adam to promise that if he ever kills him, he'll bury him in the garden. Wesley is puzzled. He says it doesn't make sense as Adam is the one that Fenton buried. To his surprise, Fenton reveals himself to be Adam Meeks. He says to Wesley that he'll understand everything soon enough and leads him to where he buried Fenton. They arrive at the spot, and Adam kneels to reminisce about how his father failed to destroy the demon that is his brother. This is why he took the responsibility to hunt Fenton down himself. Fenton took on the alias God's Hand because he knew this would catch Adam's attention. He left him notes through his victims, eventually leading Adam to him. It is revealed that Adam entered Fenton's unlocked home, and Fenton sat as he waited for him. He uttered Adam's name, prepared to meet his fate. Adam shares to Wesley that he believes everything his father has ever told them. He sees the same visions and the actual demons that reside in the human shell. Wesley points a gun at Adam, but he doesn't flinch. Instead, he taunts Wesley by saying that catching him won't bring his mother back. Wesley attacks Adam but gets overpowered. Adam gets a hold of him, and Adam sees a vision of Wesley murdering his mother. He then whispers to Wesley that he is on his list. Adam proceeds to uncuff himself and carries Wesley into his ditch. He grabs hold of his trusted axe, crossing another name off his list. Back at the office, the investigation begins and officers interrogate Griff about Adam. However, Griff seems to have forgotten Adam's face. All the surveillance footage has problems, and the only trace they have of Adam is the name he gave them, which is Fenton Meeks. FBI enters the Fenton's home, and Griff sees a list pinned on the board with Wesley Doyle's name crossed out. Griff walks into the sheriff's station, and a woman greets him. He asks for the sheriff, and the sheriff is revealed to be Adam. Griff doesn't seem to remember him at all and proceeds to ask questions about Fenton. Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.